I started doing open E because like my favorite guys were using open E, Derek Trucks and Sonny Landreth. And then a friend of mine, who was a great guitar player by the name of Champagne James Robertson, he was like, "Oh, you play in open tunings, you should check this guitar out." And it was an open C. And he had baritone strings on a telly, just a normal telly. And I never thought it was gonna work. And then I picked up the guitar and was like, this thing is amazing. All these great sounds. So I don't know, about a month later, a friend of mine sent me a project guitar that he built with gold foils in it. And I put a set of baritone strings on it and like called James, was like, "Hey man, can I steal this from you?" And I've been doing it ever since. It's a super fun way to sort of set up the guitar. You know, you get a lot more, you know, it's almost a baritone tuning because it's a half step above like B, right? So you lose some notes on the top end, but I kind of feel like you get a lot back, like in the low to mid range of the guitar. But when I started playing in open tunings, like the only kind of thing that I really knew was, you know, that kind of position. So I just started slowly mapping out, you know, major triads and those inversions and little segments of scales, because like of course the tuning is totally different, so the fingerings are all over the map, and so it felt like a big undertaking, so I just kind of did little bits at a time, you know. And when I first switched over to open tunings, I was playing a lot of dance band gigs as well as with the Brothers Landreth. So like I would take my open tuned guitar and try to navigate my way through like Michael Jackson tunes and stuff. Because it was just like, well, I know that the only way to really learn music is just by doing it. So, you know, somebody calls PYT and you're like, oh crap. Like all these crazy like sus chords moving in minor thirds. You're like, okay. And alternate tuning yields a lot of chord voicings that you wouldn't necessarily have access to in standard tuning. So kind of the crux of standard tuning to me is the G triad that happens on the 4th, 3rd, and 2nd string. So like the DGB strings. That exists in open tuning as well. I mean, it's a different key, but you know, you have and just the, you know, the nature of it alone of how the notes kind of fall, you know, you have access to. It's really hard to play like straight ahead 1, 3, 5, 7 because of the tuning and how the notes end up falling apart. And so it kind of gives you a bunch of voicings that you wouldn't normally have, and those are more like, you know, people would probably would say that they sound more like piano voicings because they are like 1 through 5 7 through 5 7 1, you know. In standard tuning you wind up with a lot wider chords because, you know, the just kind of going like this, well, you're kind of passing over 2 full octaves, you know, so you have chord tones everywhere, kind of popping out everywhere. So the open tuning kind of changed the way I looked at organizing notes and chords and stuff like that, because it gives you access to, you know, like those clusters, for example, like when notes are really close together, it's a little easier to play than in standard tuning. So you can kind of get some really neat sounding chords that you don't normally have access to.